To our dynamic Vice President on Research, Publication and Extension Office, Dr. Ninita I. Prado, PhD. To our brilliant Dean of School of Graduate Studies, Dr. Maria Chona V. Palomares, DM. To our ever supportive research advisor, Dr. Benvenido M. Flores, DM. And to our intelligent Dean of College of Business and Accountancy, Dr. Felsa A. Labis, DM, a pleasant good afternoon. Before I proceed with my presentation, please allow me to introduce myself. I am Mary Grace G. Panoy, previously employed at Rose Pharmacy Incorporated as an assistant store manager. Currently, I am a senior high school teacher at Upol National Secondary Technical School, Upol, Misamis Oriental. This afternoon, I will be presenting to you my project paper entitled Effects of Workplace Bullying to Employee Productivity to a Pharmacy in Cagayan de Oro City. There has been plenty of studies conducted on the effects of workplace bullying to employee productivity. In fact, bullying is now considered a silent epidemic in a contemporary workplace. Silent in the sense that most of the time, employees are keeping the experience in secret and think that this is just part of the job. According to Enerson et al. 2011, workplace bullying is defined as a systematic mistreatment of a subordinate, colleague, supervisors, and clients. For me, there is really a need to further investigate this matter because workplace bullying may destroy employees' mental health, ability to work, which would then affect productivity, emotional well being, and self worth. According to the Monster Pool of 2016 survey, 51% of the employees were bullied by supervisors. 39% were bullied by coworkers, whereas 4% were bullied by customers. And according to H. Howell and C. L. Cooper, most perpetrators are supervisors by making use of authority to humiliate an employee. And also with the co-workers who are competing for recognition and those employees victimized by customers when their demands are not granted. Now we go to the statement of the problem. This study was aimed to find out the effects of workplace bullying to employee productivity in one of the leading pharmaceutical company with branches in Cagayan de Oro City, Philippines. And for our objective number one, we have here determine the demographic profile of the participants in terms of number one, age, educational attainment, employment status, gender, or sex. And for the objective number two, we have here the statement of the problem. This study wanted to determine who are the perpetrators of workplace bullying in terms of supervisors, subordinates, co-workers, and customers. And for the statement of the problem number three, this paper ought to determine the effects of workplace bullying in terms of Number one, work behavior. Number two, job performance. Number three, absenteeism. And number four, job satisfaction. Since these factors can really affect employee productivity. Now, for the statement of the problem number four, we determine the relationship between workplace bullying and employee productivity. Now we go to the significance of the study. This study is significant to know how workplace bullying affects employee productivity. The result of the study will benefit the following. First, the management. Employees' productivity is one of the concern of every management to boast, of course, profit. Okay? So this paper would help the management formulate policies that would protect employees from workplace bullying and hence maximize productivity. And also to the private employees. This study will broaden employees' understanding and awareness of bullying to cope with the negative effects that may impact employee productivity. Also, with the customers, this will inform customers that bullying employee may cause emotional and mental stress that leads to poor employee performance. This paper also, together with other significant findings, may help future researchers. They can use this article as a basis of argument. Alright. Alright. Now we go to the scope and delimitations. So the coverage of this study includes only a very specific pharmaceutical retail industry in Cagayan de Oro City. Participants were the 60 employees regardless of rank or position. The researcher limited this study to only one pharmaceutical company. There was no face-to-face contact with the participants. Due to the threat of COVID-19 pandemic, the researcher opted to do the survey online using Facebook Messenger application. Now we go to the methods. The researcher conducted the study in Pharmacy X in Cagayan de Oro City. This pharmacy has branches nationwide, but the survey was done only in the branches within the city of Cagayan de Oro. Yes, the survey was conducted through online. The questionnaire was sent in Word and image format. The participant would then edit the file and check their choices. And after going through the 45-item questionnaire, participants sent back the file to the researcher. Partial data with 20 participants was used for reliability testing. Following the research protocol, the partial data was sent to the university statistician through email, and it shows up 0.883 or 88.3%, which means that the questionnaire is valid and reliable. The main survey has 60 participants. Data collection instrument was the 5-point Likert scale, ranging from 5, equivalent to always, to 1, never. This is the scoring procedure. Okay, so we have here 4.21 to 5, that scale of 5, and it has a qualitative description or verbal interpretation of always. And 3.41 to 4.20 or 4, that is equivalent to often, 3 sometimes, 2 rarely, and 1 never. Now, I opted to present the demographic profile on a graph form to easily determine which is having a high percentage. Okay, so this is for our objective number 1, determine the demographic profile. The first graph shows the age. Okay, so 58.33% of the participants were 31 to 40 years old. And according to the study of Enersan and Ecogstad, the older employees tend to be more likely to be bullied than younger one. But based on this research I conducted, most of the participants are still on the working age. And for the educational attainment, most of the respondents or my participants are college graduate, constituting 96.67%. And for the gender, most of the participants were female, okay, as observed in the graph. It has 91.67% were female and 8.33% were male. Now we go to the employment status. All of the participants are permanent with their job. Now we move on to the objective number 2. Determine the perpetrators of the workplace bullying. Okay, so I have here a table presented. Questions were like to measure how supervisors treated their subordinate. Okay, so the data here proves that there is no significant workplace bullying between supervisors to towards subordinate. Okay, so we have here the total mean of 4.08, that is equivalent to often. And according to this study, supervisors are not the perpetrators of workplace bullying. Now we go to the co-workers. Okay, so these 5 questions were designed, okay, to determine if co-workers are bullied or not. Oh, this this these questions are designed to determine if coworkers are bullies or not. Okay, so we have here the total mean of 3.71, and that is equivalent to often. It states that employees are comfortable working with their colleague, and there is no apparent verbal aggression among co-workers. Okay, now we go to the customers. Okay. So we have here the total mean of 3.08, and that is equivalent to sometimes. We can say then that though the qualitative equivalent of sometimes means infrequent but to a considerable degree, okay, it implies that workplace bullying is not happening most of the time, but it is still important to consider further investigation in this matter. Now we go to the statement of the problem number 3. Determine the effects of the workplace bullying to employee productivity. Okay, so I have here the 4 variables. Okay, the job performance, work behavior, absenteeism, and job satisfaction. Now let's talk on the employee job performance. Okay, the total mean of 3.1, that is equivalent to sometimes. Job performance, therefore, is sometimes affected by workplace bullying. Okay? And for the work behavior, we have here the total of 3.59 that is equivalent to often. According to the American Psychological Association, work behavior affects the quantity and quality of work from an employee. Okay, on this study, the result implies that work behavior is greatly affected by workplace bullying. Now we go to absenteeism. The table expresses that workplace bullying affects employee attendance very rarely, okay, with a total mean of 2.18, that is equivalent to rarely. If and when employees are motivated in doing the job, bullying does not increases absenteeism. Now we go to the job satisfaction. According to a validated scale developed by Skrisstream and Choi, job satisfaction is measured by assessing the essence of one's job, supervisor performance, and relationship with coworkers. On this study, job satisfaction mean at 3.36 indicates that workplace bullying is sometimes affected employee job performance. Now we go to the objective number 4. I have here the 10 item questions to determine the relationship between variables. The table provides data indicating that there is a significant relationship between workplace bullying and employee productivity, with a mean of 3.71 that is equivalent to often describes that employee productivity are oftentimes affected by workplace bullying, and it contributes stress, anxiety, lack of vigor in doing their job. Participants at all times prefer to accommodate non-bully customers, which in turn affect their sales. They feel threatened when they witness bullying. Thus, sometimes they can be unproductive. It also affects motivation and so with the work output. Based also on this study, employees' emotional and mental health are compromised, thus affecting productivity. This study supports what has been written by Finstad et al. Of 2019, which states that workplace bullying affects physical and mental health to an employee. After the study was conducted and based on results, it was concluded that workplace bullying has a significant effect on employee productivity as to job performance, work behavior, absenteeism, and job satisfaction. This study further concludes that workplace bullying does not influence absenteeism. And for our recommendations, I have here four. Okay? So, first, the company shall promote a program to prevent workplace bullying from happening. And number two, employees shall have an awareness about workplace bullying. And number three, customer complaints shall be resolved at a private place within the store. The reason is to avoid verbal aggression if customers' demands are not granted. And lastly, future researches shall be conducted to more pharmacies to verify the result of the study. Okay, so these are my references. All right, so thank you very much for your presence. Thank you very much, and Merry Christmas to one and all. Good afternoon.